Welcome to the Maybe I Can podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Weiss. I'm here to motivate and inspire you to stop using your circumstances as an excuse, just like I used to. An excuse to not take control of your life. It's time to stop living your life on autopilot and start taking purposeful action to create the life you truly desire. Let's do this together.
Hi there, and welcome to the show. I truly appreciate you being here with me today. And our topic for today is Personal Development 101. I don't know about you, but probably it's only been about 5-6 years since I even realized what personal development was, and that I had actually been in the process of personally developing myself and didn't know that it had a name. So today, I want to give you just a brief, high-level overview of the 5 main areas of personal development and how we even get started down this journey. Personal development to me means that you're at a place in your life where you're starting to think about yourself, your future, and really the life that you want. I think sometimes we get swept up by the daily activities and one thing leads to another, and we're just kind of spinning in circles. And personal development puts you on a path and makes you aware and gives you direction and helps to control your life. It can make you happier and healthier in every way, physically, mentally, emotionally, and you build skills and learn new things along the way. So, sounds pretty good, right? Yeah, sounds so easy, but it's not. It's work, but it's worth it. It all kind of started with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, I don't remember, did I originally hear that in psychology class? It's like Psych 101. I don't even want to tell you how many years ago that was. Back then, I probably just thought that it was something I needed to learn or memorize from a test, for a test. But now when I look at it, I'm kind of getting it. If you can remember, or if maybe you don't, visualize a triangle. And at the very base, your basic needs, or all of our basic needs, are physiological: food, clothing, shelter, that kind of thing. And as you move up towards the top, there are different layers that you add in. Your safety and feeling secure, feeling a sense of belonging and love, and having self-esteem. And at the very top, the little itty bitty little area at the very top is self-actualization. And that is synonymous, I would say, for personal development. Or maybe it's the fact that personal development is what helps you to achieve self-actualization. Self-actualization to me is, are you ready to achieve your full potential? That's when somebody said something to me yesterday that struck me. She said, it's like the universe cracked open your head and allowed all of this creativity and learning to happen. And I love that visual. Not that I want my head cracked open, because I don't. But it makes sense. It feels like once I started on this path of personal development, and it's slow, and you have to be okay with that, I somehow got to the point where, wow, all of a sudden, things were just popping in, and I don't know, my life was taking shape in ways I would never have even imagined. The thing about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's not a straight path, right? Just like life isn't one straight path. You go up a level, you jump down a level, maybe you are up 2 levels and everything below has been fulfilled, and then something happens, you lose a job, get divorced, lose a loved one, and you jump back down. It's okay. It's okay, because that's what happens. We all jump around. But when we start to get to that place where we understand the importance of controlling our own lives and wanting to actually reach our full potential, then that's when you can really kick it into high gear with the personal development. As I got started in this, I've noticed that so many people, younger people, are already walking down this path. And I just find that so interesting, because here I am, 59 years old at the time of this recording. And, it took me probably until I was about 50 to get to that place. And like I said, when I got there, I didn't even know I was there. Something in me just shifted, and I realized it was time to start working on myself. And maybe it's, that ordinary curve of people getting married at a certain age, having a family, and then as they get older, have time to focus on themselves. I love the idea that there are so many people that aren't waiting, because you shouldn't have to wait. The earlier, the better on the one hand, but hey, on the other hand, it is absolutely never too late. So here we go. What are the 5 main areas of personal development? The first is mental. You want to mentally stay fit, exercise your mind by learning new things. Some of those brain exercise apps on your phone. Oh my goodness. I opened it up the other day, and this app, I wish it didn't do this. It gives you, after you're done playing the little game, it gives you this stat that tells you how much better you performed versus other people your age. And I can't stand it. Of course, I love it when it says, oh, you performed 99% better than the other 59-year-olds. But when I get a percentage like 16%, I perform 16% better, I'm not feeling so good. I guess, though, that's the whole idea of the brain training, right? If we were perfect, none of us would need it. And mentally too, just resting your mind. Oh my goodness, I can't say enough about that. I don't know about you, but my mind is always racing. I'm sure it's racing when I'm sleeping. Thank God, just in my subconscious, and I'm not aware. Because it feels like from the minute that I open my eyes in the morning, it starts, right? It starts with, what do I have to do today? What am I worried about? What do I have to do tomorrow? Oh, I have to remember this. And then it's on to the next thing. And then it's a problem at work or a problem at home, whatever it is, it's like constant. And it's so nice to be able to give it a rest. So definitely something that falls under mental is resting that mind, not necessarily using it all the time. The second area is social, which is our connection to other people. I don't have there's so many different quotes, but it's basically the fact that you are, well, let's just say representation of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So meaning, if you're around people who are always negative and complaining and gossiping and just really don't have anything nice to say, you know those people, they kind of suck the life out of you. I mean, in the past, I have to say, I feel like I did that occasionally, especially when I was down or depressed or whatever. Yeah, not nice. But if those are the only types of people that you're around, well, how are you going to be any different? How are you going to be hopeful or excited about your future and developing yourself. You're not. But now picture yourself being surrounded by people who are also on this personal development journey, who are striving to reach the life of their dreams. And those people are just talking about all the different things that they've explored and activities and goals and just being upbeat. I mean, I'm hoping that's what the podcast does for you, because when I listen to other podcasts, I get pumped. I'm like, hey, they can do it. I can do it. And the more that I listen to those types of people and surround myself with those types of people, the more motivated I am to do whatever it is to lead me towards my goal. So for sure, keep that in mind. Examine the people in your life. Not saying that you should just throw them all away if they don't meet your standards, but be aware, certainly be aware. The other thing under social is relationship building. I can think, oh boy, so many times where I either take my friends or family for granted. I have had so many people in my life who've been so amazing to me. And it's almost like I come to expect it. And what do I do to nurture that relationship, show my appreciation? Maybe I don't make time for them because I'm too busy, take a step back and realize the importance of building those bonds with other people, because we all need other people. Whether you're a loner or not, we all need some type of social connection. Number 3, spiritual. So I used to hear that, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I felt that it was religious. And I just kind of feel like everybody's religion or religious beliefs are unique unto themselves. And I didn't really understand why that needed to be a thing. What do I need to develop in that area? But it's not necessarily this. It's just a deeper understanding of yourself. Who are you? Who are you in this world? And taking a look at, sometimes you're so caught up, you don't even realize, wow, look at this amazing physical world around us. Just to be in nature, to appreciate those things, to take the time to do that and to connect to nature and to your deeper self. That's what spiritual is. It could have a religious component. It might not. Up to you. It's completely individual. Number 4 is emotional. Boy, how important is that? The ability to understand your feelings and how those feelings shape the thoughts that run into your head and your actions. I used to think that if I thought it, it was true. I thought it, it must be true. I have no idea why I thought that. I don't think that I ever stepped back to examine it. I just assumed I knew what I was thinking. Like I knew that I was right, and that's why I was thinking it. Which on closer examination is absolutely ridiculous, because why would I always be right? I don't know. Nobody is. Once you realize when, you're feeling some kind of powerful emotion and those thoughts jump into your head, when you're feeling extreme emotion, most of the times those thoughts or those things that you're thinking of acting upon, usually not the best and usually not true. So working on your emotional health is important. It could be through therapy. It could be through creative ways. It could be through meditation and just catching yourself in that emotional state and controlling, or not controlling, but allowing those thoughts that might not be beneficial to just kind of float on by and right out the other side of your head. And then the last area, main area of personal development is physical. And, I think, don't we all think that? I don't know. Seems to be, for me, the main area. Oh, I have to, improve myself. Okay, I have to lose weight. I have to be stronger. I have to exercise more, eat healthy, all that stuff. Not like it's a bad thing. But an area I'd say that most of us are pretty familiar with what we should be doing and how we can improve, because there's always room for improvement. Now, of course, we can say there are other areas, and where does career fall in, and, a lot of other things. But these are the main categories when we think about what areas of our life we need to look at in order to grow, because that's what personal development is. We're growing our potential. Now what? Here's the areas. Now we know what the areas are. What do I do with that information? Well, you got to devise a plan, because you're not going to just get there. Now that you know what the areas are, there's no magic. I don't have a magic wand. Well, I actually do have a magic wand, but it doesn't work very well. So you've got to develop a plan. There's a few steps to developing a plan. The first is identify the areas where you'd like to improve. When I started down this journey, like I said, I didn't know I was on it. For me, the first area I focused on was my weight. I had allowed my weight to really get to a point that was very unhealthy, and I was unhappy. And my whole life has been about weight issues. So I've been on a diet literally since the day I was born. I mean, I was, I don't even know, 8 pounds, 3 ounces, which back in the early 60s was a big baby, which wouldn't be now. And my parents used to always joke, oh, you were born at 11:40 a.m., right in time for lunch. I think I was on my first diet. Oh gosh, a formal diet at 10, my first trip to Weight Watchers, but lots of other stuff in between, before, after, forever. The difference was when I started this diet, which happened when I turned 50, my mindset shifted. With all the other diets, it was a diet, right? I got to lose X amount of pounds by the summer, or by this wedding, or whatever it was. And either I was on or off. And I'd be on, usually I'd say, like, as an adult, 3 months was about my average. I could handle whatever the deprivation was for about 3 months. And then once I got a taste of the other side, the dark side, the stuff that tasted a lot better than what I had been eating, it all fell apart. It's common. But what changed is I realized this is not a diet. This is forever. I can't be on something, off something. I have to find a way to eat that allows me to maintain a healthy weight and still be happy. And there is no end point. There is no deadline. And that was a mammoth shift for me. And here I am, almost 60. So 10 years later, still haven't reached that goal, but that's okay, because I'm on a journey and I'm learning along the way. When I started, again, I didn't know I didn't say, okay, I am going to personally develop now, and here is my plan. No, this is one area. I just did it naturally, that I started with my weight. Again, I hadn't examined the other areas of my life. This was just one area of my life that I wanted to fix. What wound up happening was once I was on a roll with that and I was feeling better and proud of myself for doing a good job and changing my mindset and staying on this journey, keeping the course, even after I ate, things that used to be forbidden, but I don't think of them as forbidden anymore. And that's when I started examining the other parts of my life. To have to turn everything upside down at once, you can't do it. It's just not going to work. It's too overwhelming. So I think what's good is okay, you can make a list of all the things that you want to improve and then prioritize them and start with one thing and make a plan. The next step is to devise a plan. Now, maybe it's something where you want to work with a coach or a mentor to help you devise a plan. You don't have to necessarily do that. It depends what it is. With me and my weight, well, I went to Weight Watchers. So they were my coach and my mentor and my fellow weight loss buddies. And then the third step is to structure your goal. Okay, so you have this goal. Now, what are you going to do to achieve it? And how can you fit it into your life? You have to create habits that just become a part of your everyday routine. It's too much to, again, it can't be that all or nothing thing. When you start to try and change too many things at once, it's just a recipe for disaster. So you start with one thing, something small, and then you build small habits, have those little successes. And it's amazing how quickly they really, stack and grow. The fourth thing is find an accountability buddy. Maybe you don't need it or you don't feel you need it, but I'll tell you, I have always found that to be invaluable. To have somebody else, I always said, I need a police officer. I can't just say, okay, I am going to make this change and do it on my own. It's really hard. When it comes to exercise, I joined a strength training class and it's 6 a.m., 3 mornings a week. And you know what? If I don't show up, those other women are like, where were you? The instructor, she'll be texting me if I hadn't told her I had to miss that day. That kind of keeps me on the straight and narrow when my alarm goes off at 5:15 in the morning and I got to get up and I really just want to roll over and go back to sleep. Maybe it is just putting it out there. Maybe you don't want to have particular person or people that you share your goal with. I've always found that even if you just kind of put it out there, if you're a social media person, put it out there, say, this is what I'm doing. When I first quit smoking, which was, 30 something years ago now, I loved smoking. I got to tell you, if they said that there is no danger if you smoked, I would be back at it in a second. I really loved it. And it was just around the time that it was coming out that, it's really bad for you. And people had started quitting. It used to be that you could smoke everywhere. You could smoke in an airplane. You could smoke in a movie theater. You can smoke in the shopping mall. I mean, there wasn't a place. And all of a sudden, they started to limit that. And I knew I needed to do it, but I just loved it so much, I didn't want to do it. And then I got sick. I got like this really bad case of mono. And I was still puffing away. I'd take a drag and then I'd be like hacking up a lung. And one day I thought to myself, all right, this is really dumb, Deb. How can you be smoking when you feel like this? So I said, all right, play a little game with myself. just for this morning, I'm not going to smoke. And that's what I did for a few days. And then I increased it. And then I actually made it a whole day without smoking. But I wasn't quitting. I just wasn't feeling well, so I wasn't smoking. When I got to 6 days, I thought to myself, you know what? I am never going to get a head start like this again. But the minute I tell a single person that I'm quitting smoking, that's it. Because now it's out there and everybody else knows, and other people will be asking me how I'm doing. They'll know if I'm smoking. And it took me 6 full days to get the courage to say, okay, I'm doing it. And that's what I did. And I haven't had a drag since then. Putting it out there into the universe, it makes a difference. And lastly, you've got to be aware of your progress and be honest with yourself. Hey, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're going to mess up. We are going to mess up. Just know that. That doesn't mean that you just scrap everything and say, forget it. I can't do this. It is information. You have to take that information and say, okay, here was the circumstance. It didn't work out. Why did I mess up? What was it? What do I need to change moving forward? That's how life is, right? We have a failure, a disappointment, and we learn from it. It is growth. That failure in itself is growth. So never, ever, ever, ever give up on yourself. Just think of it. Don't think of it as a mistake. Don't mentally berate yourself. That's what I used to do. There's no point. I'm human. So are you. Don't do it. So that is a general overview of personal development. There are a million different avenues that we can go down as moving forward in future episodes. So many that it's almost overwhelming. So what matters to me is what you want to hear. So I would love if you DM me on Instagram at Debbie, DEBBIE.R, the letter R. My middle name is Robin. Not a fan most of my life of that name, but for some reason now it's starting to grow on me. Weiss, WEISS. So Debbie.R.Weiss on Instagram. DM me, let me know where you are in your own personal development journey and what you want to hear more about. I cannot wait to hear from you. See you soon. Make it a great day. Thanks so much for listening today. And remember, you've always had the power, my dear. You've just had to learn it for yourself. Until next time.